Yo people, welcome to another video with CMDAV, and we're going to be doing the Emily James video today. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe. If you want to see more, if you want to see something specific, let me know. Obviously I'm working on things, but I love to hear your feedback. Let's get straight into the video. Emily, also known as M, first appears on the first day of the new year attending Waterloo Road alongside her older sister Lindsay after their school John Foster's is merged with Waterloo Road. In the first episode, Emily's introverted attitude attracts attention from head teacher Rachel, who looks after Emily after Lindsay abandons her to rush into the girls' toilet to be sick. Later it's revealed that Emily and Lindsay's dad has been murdered, which they're both shocked at. A heartbroken Emily is shattered by the revelation and even more distressed to find out her mother has been arrested on suspicion for murder. In episode 2, Emily wants to attend her father's funeral, but Lindsay is less than happy about the idea and tries to persuade her that it isn't a good idea. Since Lindsay fails to do so, they are accompanied at the funeral by Rachel. In episode 3, we see Carla helping Emily and comforting her. At this point, since the first episode of the 5th season of Waterloo Road, there's been a rivalry between the John Foster students and the Waterloo Road students since the merger. As this is seen by Lindsay as interfering, Carla is then attacked by the John Foster girl gang led by Lindsay and warned her to stay away from her sister Emily. Lindsay thinks she's got her point across to Carla until she realizes the distressed Emily saw the whole incident. Emily slowly starts to pick up on Lindsay's violent and aggressive behaviour. On trying to keep away from the girl she's fighting with, she ends up getting caught in the middle of a confrontation between Lindsay and Michaela. This confrontation was broken up by Chris and Rachel. In episode 6, Emily is seen developing a crush on her friend Denzel, which is not at all approved by Lindsay. Later on in the series, Emily finds out that Lindsay was sexually abused by their dad. This results in her turning against him. It also makes Emily protective about her relationship with Lindsay, and she attempts to help her when she breaks down despite being the younger sibling. Episode 9 marks the start of Emily and Lindsay's mum's trial. Emily is sure she will be released, and as Lindsay is giving evidence about the sexual abuse she endured from her dad, Rachel asks Chris to look after Em for the day. At the trial, her mum isn't doing well, and the court don't really believe Lindsay, so they don't believe the sexual abuse story, which leads to her breaking down, and she actually confesses to Rachel, saying that she didn't want the same sexual abuse which was happening to her to happen to her sister Emily. Lindsay is persuaded to tell the truth in court, and on doing so, she proclaims the reason she did kill her dad was to protect Emily, as the morning he died, he was going to abuse Emily the same way he had done to her. This leads to Emily's sister being arrested and their mum being released. In the final episode of the first part of season 10, Michaela is seen trying to support Lindsay by setting up a petition to back her in her impending trial. Emily is seen in school with Denzel, who kisses her on the cheek. Her mum talks to Rachel about how well she is doing at school, and it is revealed that Lindsay is free on bail from the help of Michaela and Emily. In season 6, we don't see as much as Emily throughout the season, but when we do see her, she's usually with Denzel. In episode 13, we do see Em briefly taking part in Janice's hunt for an apprentice, but she's mostly ignored and favours Ronan. She characterises Em as mousy, which I do agree with for the most part, because Em is quite innocent and quite quiet, so it makes sense at this point. Later on in season 6, Emily's concerned when Denzel rebels with new boy Cal Stack. She tells Chris, but Denzel goes too far when him and Cal do a stunt on a bridge. When Denzel falls, Finn tries to save Denzel. He saves him but falls himself. As you can see from the thumbnail of the video, I captioned it from sweet to sinister. The reason for this was that during season 7 there was a massive turn for Emily. In season 7, Emily and Denzel tease the new maths teacher Daniel Chalk, or Chalky. Emily sticks up for Denzel when Scout irritates him. Scout and Emily didn't originally like each other at first, but in episode 13, Scout and Emily enjoy a life on rebellion together after Emily's sister Lindsay James didn't come to her visit after she was released from prison. This was the starting point of their friendship. Scout and Em's relationship grows to the point where they start to live together for a bit, but because of the rebellious antics from Em, she was always pushing Scout to do things which were obscene. Em is doing these different things to get noticed by her mum. In episode 18, Em convinces Scout to steal vodka with her and to get a tattoo together, getting Scout into more and more trouble. Without realizing, Em's mum thought that Scout was behind all of these things, therefore she didn't want Scout living at the house anymore. This was the start to the end of their relationship. In episode 20, Emily writes a letter in Scout's name saying that her foster dad sexually assaulted her in a bid to prevent her from moving from Rochdale to Bristol. After Scout comes clean and says that Emily wrote the letter, she apologizes to her foster mum, saying that she didn't mean for any of this to happen to their foster dad being arrested and not being able to stay at home. Emily then confronts Scout and says that she will never forgive her for what she did, basically ending their friendship. In season 7, Emily and Tarek were paired together to go into town and question the locals. They get chased by the police, and after losing them, Tarek kisses Emily on the cheek. That then made them a secret couple. I remember this and I found it really funny, because at this point, Tarek was against Finn with Trudy, his sister, but when Trudy found out about him and Emily, he tried to play it off saying it's not the same thing, but at the end of the day it was. I remember the violation that Emily gave Tarek as well. On the 30th episode of season 7, when they were at the prom, Tarek asked Emily if she wanted to dance, and she said yeah, she wanted to, just not with him. And everyone was laughing, even I was laughing as well. It was just too funny, but peak on Tarek. This was the last episode that we saw Emily James, and this was the last episode that was filmed in Rochdale. From season 8, they filmed in Scotland until they unfortunately finished in season 10. Thank you for watching the video. Make sure you like, subscribe and comment. Let me know what you want to see next. Let me know if you liked the video. Let me know if you didn't like the video. I like any criticism, you know, positive, negative, anything. Random, say hello in the comments, anything. But thank you for watching, guys. I'm going to be back with a couple more videos. Thank you. Stay safe. Peace.